I call him my stalker. I know his full name, his Minnesota court file number, his U.S. Department of Justice register number, but I define him by his purpose, his activity in my life. Just as I refer to others as my doctor, my teacher, or my hairdresser, he is my stalker. He stalks me. I only met my stalker 3 times, but what he did to me changed my life forever. I just wanted to disappear.
When desire overtakes reason, the human mind can unleash deadly obsession. These are true stories told by the victims.
Oh!
Welcome to Augsburg.
When I got to Augsburg, it was 1990, and I was from a rural area, so I suppose I looked like somebody who was trying hard to be a city person, but who speaks with a rural accent. It seemed like a really safe, welcoming place for me, and it was a place that I felt like I already kind of knew. No, sorry. Excuse me. I was living on the 3rd floor of Ernest Tower, and Ernest Tower is the freshman dormitory. And so it was really communal living. You'd see people all the time coming back from the bathroom after their shower, wearing a towel or whatever. So there was absolutely no privacy. But that was part of the fun of just being in this new environment with all of these excited kids who are in college for their first year. I think the first person I met at college was my roommate.
Jane? Molly? Hi!
Molly was just really cool, and she had these really cute friends, and she was outgoing and friendly and got along well with everybody, and I really liked her a lot.
I gotta go catch up with some friends now. See you later? Okay. Bye. Bye.
I felt so free, and for the first time in my life, I wasn't encountering racism every single day. It was amazing. I was adopted by a Lutheran couple from Frazee, Minnesota, and that's about a 4-hour drive northwest of Minneapolis. I think my experience growing up in that town was very different from the experience of other children growing up there because of race. You know, other kids calling me a chink or a Jap or a gook or a rice picker, and because my parents are white and they had never experienced racism themselves, they didn't know how to cope with it, so they didn't at all. I was in a totally different environment. I'm not living with my parents for the first time ever. The dorms were very close together, and every day you could see what other people were doing, you know, walking around, doing their homework, arranging things, making out on the floor, whatever. You could see everything. And everybody could see you. I was really busy, I think, because of the honors program, because not only was I doing the academic coursework, but I also had to do all of this extra work, the practicing piano. Like, really, at that level, you should practice 4 hours a day. I was there to study the piano. And then I realized that it would be actually easier with the way the credit system worked if I would also major in English. So I double majored in English and piano performance. There was a lot of partying going on, but it didn't really take place in the freshman dorm. It would take place in the frat houses. But I was super busy, so I didn't go out very much. All my homework was done. I did all my laundry and all my blouses were ironed before I went to party. I was that kind of person. At Augsburg, there's a student directory, and there were pictures of all of the students and their name, their phone number on the campus, and then also their home address. It was used as a dating guide. You know, you could find people you were interested in.
Hello?
Hi, Jane.
Yeah, who's this?
You don't know me, but I've seen you around.
In March, I received a call, and it was this guy, Jim.
Do you want to meet up sometime?
Like on a date? I don't even know who you are.
Oh.
Look, I've got band practice in a minute, but, you could walk with me if you like. I'll be in the lobby in like 2 minutes.
Right now?
Right now.
Okay.
Okay.
The
Bye.
environment on the campus had this friendly feeling. You sort of knew everybody, or you knew somebody who knew that person. So I felt perfectly safe in saying, okay, just come and meet me downstairs.
Jim?
When I first saw him in the lobby, I didn't think that he was remarkable in any way. He was just a guy.
What's your major?
He didn't have special clothes or special hairstyle or anything. He was just some guy with brown hair at my school.
So, do you think we could go out sometime?
Oh, look, Jim, we only just met, and I'm really busy with studying and, band, and... Hey! Look, I gotta go, but I'll see you around, okay?
I got to the music building and said goodbye. And that was it. I mean, it was totally normal. He was just a guy, just like the 1,000 other people who were brand new to me at school. When I got to Augsburg, I received a call,
Hello?
and it was this guy, Jim.
Hey.
Hey.
He asked me if I would go on a date with him. He was just a guy, just like the 1,000 other people who were brand new to me at school. And it was totally normal. I'm not sure if I didn't expect to see him again or I just wasn't even thinking about it. I mean, I had so many other things to worry about. You know, I didn't feel like there was some special connection during that 5 minutes. Nothing, you know, it's just another student. You meet other students all the time. By early to mid-May, I totally forgot about it. But there was another person who asked me out. His name is Steve Brower, and he was older than I was.
Mal, hey, it's me. Who's Steve Bauer?
But he was in that circle of friends, so they knew him already, and they were the hot, popular kids. And he seemed like a decent person, and that I would be okay going on a date with him.
Why? I think he just asked me out.
He was handsome, and he was a hockey player, which means a lot at Augsburg. So I said, okay.
Oh, wait, Mal.
We went for a walk, which is a really great thing for students to do because we don't have any money. And it was a beautiful evening, and we took a walk through the university campus, and it's kind of romantic.
So whereabouts you from?
Frazee?
It's exciting when somebody likes you.
It's like 1,000.
That's nice. And
Yeah. What about you?
I liked him, and I was 18 years old, so I didn't know anything. I was a virgin. I think by that time, you know, the semester was almost over. Everyone else had gone home for summer vacation.
Dear Jane, have a great summer, kid. Good luck with Steve. See you in the fall. Love, Mal.
Hello?
Jane? Hey, it's Steve.
Hey.
Later that week, Steve asked me if I would come over to his apartment and see a movie. His apartment was in Mortensen Tower.
Jane? Hey, it's Steve. Yeah, I had a great time too. Listen, you want to come over and maybe watch a movie later?
Going to the upperclassmen dorm is a huge deal.
Great. I'll see you at 8. 5th floor, room 15. Okay.
I think the college thing was so different for me because people were interested. The guys were interested in me, and the guys were never interested in me. That evening, as I was getting ready, I had the whole bathroom to myself. I think I was nervous and excited. I still wore my hair long. You know, lots of makeup, and I was very femme at the time. Going up the elevator to his apartment that night, I was nervous because I wanted to impress him and look pretty and have the date go well. I got to his apartment and I knocked on the door.
Hey,
Hey.
come in. Take a seat. I just need to brush my teeth. Wait here for a minute, okay?
Okay.
He disappeared down the little hallway, and I went and had a seat on the couch. People that I knew were having sex, and I was like kind of curious about that, but it was really against my religion to do that. I was sitting there waiting for Steve, and then Jim came out.
Hey.
And I was so shocked. I didn't expect him to be there. That's the wrong person coming out of the hallway.
You look nice tonight, Jane. You look better with your clothes off. You do know nobody wants you here, right? You're a Korean in a white man's society.
Steve disappeared, and it never occurred to me to yell to him, like, hey, where are you? What's going on?
Just let me go, please.
Go! Rice pickle.
Just let me go!
I think I just knew like something was so wrong, but I didn't know what. Because nobody tells you these are the things that can happen. Like, that's not part of the instruction books. I went back to my room and I called my sister, and she told me that I should come over to her workplace.
Sorry, it's me. I don't know. Something really weird happened.
And I did that because I was afraid I could be raped or something, because I was the only person on my floor. So I spent that night at her workplace, and my parents came and picked me up the next day.
You know, nobody wants you here, right? You're a Korean in a white man's society.
I was in such a shock because I hadn't heard those things for months, you know, for the first time in my life. It was so nice to be at this college where people were supposed to be accepting of diversity, and he came and threw all this racism in my face. My mom and dad came and got my stuff and went back to Frazee, and I was so happy to get away from that bizarre situation. I told them what happened, but I think my parents' reaction to anything is to kind of not react.
Welcome home, hon.
Yeah. Thanks, Dad.
I thought it was just gonna be, okay, I'm done with school this year, and I'm gonna go home.
White man's society. Nobody wants you here.
Just let me go, please.
It's a beautiful place where I grew up, but it was really scary and strange to be home after everything that happened. It was just really clear that we did not talk about Korea, we did not talk about racism, we did not talk about the adoption. So that was part of the contract of living there, is to pretend nothing was happening. I remember when I was really young, my parents got piano lessons for me, and so a lot of my emotional energy was just spent at the piano. I think I was just completely absorbed by it, and that allowed me to just go somewhere else. And then later on, when I was in high school and other people heard me play, it was also a way to be accepted by other students. Every summer since I was 14 years old, I worked. And that summer, I landed myself a job playing piano at a bar. Earning money doing something that you really enjoy. It was really nice for me. I drove up into the parking lot of Jerry B's and I parked the car. At that point, it was before happy hour, and so it was mostly empty. It was really scary and strange to be home after everything that happened. That summer, I landed myself a job playing piano at a bar. I drove up into the parking lot, and then suddenly the light was blocked. He was so close to me. I was in a total panic. Frazee is about 4 hours from Minneapolis. There's no reason why he should be there. I needed to stick my quarter into the phone, and this was a really difficult task. It's like the whole world collapsed into the keypad on the phone.
Dad, it's me. I need you to come get me. Just please come get me.
I'm quite sure he used the phone directory in order to find me. It was very hard to articulate what was happening or why I felt scared. It just was obvious that something wasn't right. If somebody's a sociopath, you don't always know it. Our family had a summer holiday scheduled to go to Wisconsin, and so we decided to go early because I was so shaken up. We left for maybe 1 or 2 nights. I didn't feel like there was someone that I could talk to about what was happening. My parents, they're really stoic Germanic/Scandinavian Midwesterners who are from a rural area. You know, they don't say much. My family lived in a 3-bedroom Rambler. It's a quite small house, actually. When you walk in the front door, there's a living room to your left, and then there's a kitchen to your right. If you walk through the first part of the kitchen, then there's the dining room with a table, and then there's like a little couch and a TV, and then a bathroom. In the back of the house then were the bedrooms, where I kept my precious things and things from my childhood. The drive from Wisconsin to our hometown is hours and hours drive. So I would try to sleep as much as possible in the car so as not to get car sick. Usually I would wake up when the garage door was being opened. But that night I woke up because my mom said that somebody tried to break into the house because the glass window on the door was broken.
Hey, Vinton, look at that!
Wait, they might still be in there.
I'll use Ross's phone to call the sheriff. Stay here.
My dad went over to the neighbor's house to see if he could use their phone because he had to call the police. So we were just waiting.
Mom, I really need to pee. You'll have to go outside.
It wasn't safe to go in the house because the house had been broken into, so I had to go to the bathroom in the woods.
Jane, be careful.
Damn it. It was, of course, totally dark, and so I soiled myself, and that was very humiliating.
Sheriff's on his way.
So we waited for the police, but it can take 40, 45 minutes for them to show up, which is actually really scary. I remember my dad talking with the sheriffs, and they're asking him what happened. I went back to my room, and I could see that someone had sat down on my bed. I knew that Jim was doing this. It was really scary that he would break into our house because Frazee is very Americana and idyllic and rural and sort of perfect. We don't have crime there.
We've been away for 2 days. We've been on vacation. It could have happened anytime.
I think I know who did this. His name's Jim. Jim Martin. He's a senior.
I told them who I thought it was, which was Jim, and they were like, "So it's your boyfriend, huh?"
No, he's not my boyfriend. I met him like 3 times.
I think I was just like really mad at everybody. Like, why aren't you listening to me, jerks? But I'm a 19-year-old kid. So, you know, why would they listen to me? He had urinated on the toilet seat, and there were footprints on the rug, so that needed to be cleaned up. It was disgusting that this person who's uninvited into our home leaves all of his dirt there and his urine and terrifies us in this way. I didn't know where he was or what his plan was. It was humiliating, and I guess this feeling of being really powerless and out of control in this situation. But I brought him, and I didn't mean to bring him, but it's like I brought this back with me from the city. I started sleeping with my clothes and my glasses on, just in case something happened and I needed to run. If you're being hunted, then you need to be aware of your surroundings. started having this nightmare. I'm running and unable to escape the stalker. If you're being hunted, then you need to be aware of your surroundings. I woke up suddenly and I could hear somebody trying to break into the house. My dad got up, and when he called out, "Hey!" The stalker ran away down the hill. At this point, my parents were the only people who really knew what was going on because they were living that reality with me. My dad started telling his coworkers what was happening, and he asked the neighbors to come and get him if something suspicious was happening so he could have more information to give to the police. At this time, the rifle came from the bottom drawer of his really old filing cabinet in the basement to underneath the bed. Nothing was safe, and I really feel that we were kind of at our wits' end because the people from the sheriff's office weren't doing anything. After that, I started sleeping in my mom and dad's bedroom. We contacted the sheriff again, but at the time, they still were not taking it seriously.
Hello.
2 days later, at about 4 a.m., our neighbor called us and said that he saw a car going up and down the road.
Clint, it's 4 a.m.
Call 911. Stay here.
So my dad went over to the neighbors, and they went and drove down to the end of the driveway.
Hello, this is Joyce Vogler, 405 Eagle Lake Road. Please come quickly. Shots! There's shots! Someone's shooting!
It was so terrifying. Maybe my dad had been shot, maybe he's been killed. I thought it was Jim coming to get me.
Joyce? Jane, it's me.
I was so helpless.
It was him. We were at the end of Ross's Drive. We saw a car drive by. We flicked on the lights, and he shot at us.
Jim had shot into the windshield of my neighbor's car, and one of the bullets went through the glass and it almost hit my dad. If he had been shot, I don't know what we would have done. I didn't really know what his objective was, but here's just this person who decided to do this. Suddenly, things started to really move. There was a sheriff's car that they put in the driveway as a deterrent in case he had our house staked out. And we went into hiding. They moved us to a cabin that was away from our home for our safety. And I'm not going to say where it is in case they're still using it.
You know you're going to be completely safe here. The sheriff told us.
My dad worked in a factory, and he made a flyer asking people if they would keep an eye out. And the objective was to get this person arrested. But I didn't really feel safe there either, because my parents were at work, and so even though I'm in this safe house, I'm still like by myself. I felt really guilty because I felt like this is something that followed me home from the city. If I hadn't brought this, then my parents wouldn't be having to deal with this. And like, I didn't intentionally bring it, but I had gone to the city and it followed me. The safe house is supposedly a safe place, but it's also a strange place. I'd never been there before. Later that week, we were still waiting for the sheriff to catch this guy, and we had no idea when that would be. Nobody could actually find him. Clearly, he had some kind of sexual interest in me. He had videotaped me through my window, and unbeknownst to me, he had also videotaped the night that I was in his apartment. I didn't have any expectations or thoughts about what would happen next. I had absolutely no idea. At that point, we were in hiding. I didn't have any expectations about what would happen next. We were still waiting for the sheriff to catch this guy, and we had no idea when that would be. Clearly, he had some kind of sexual interest in me, but nobody could actually find him.
Better with your clothes off.
Just let me go, please.
One of the neighbors who also worked with my dad saw this car in the road next to his house and called the police.
Freeze, please! Turn around! Got a gun! Drop the gun! Drop it! Down on the ground! On your knees! On your knees! On your knees!
Jim Martin was arrested on August 12th, 1991. Then I found out the contents of his car, what he had when he was arrested. He had everything he needed in order to rape me and kill me. What he wanted to do was videotape it so he could watch it again and again for his pleasure. He had stakes and rope, gasoline, and a knife, and a shovel. And the shovel is another thing that really bothers me, because that's for my body. Everybody was kind of going around me. Nobody was talking directly to me. I don't remember ever stepping foot inside the sheriff's office.
His name's Jim. Jim Martin.
The shooting was about my dad and my neighbor, and the burglary is about my parents' property. But that was a mismatch about the reality, because the reality was that he was stalking me, and there was no crime. I didn't want to be seen as a woman anymore, so I shaved my head and I wore boys' clothes. I just wanted to disappear. In the fall, I started to see a counselor, and I started crying in her office, and I couldn't stop, and the next thing I know, I was in the mental hospital. Sometimes I really wish that I had actually been raped, because nobody knew how to deal with this, or actually nothing happened, in a way. And so, like I had this desire that something would have happened to my body. My life stopped because I wasn't able to think about the future anymore. What happened in his life that caused him to do this?
In February 1992, Jim Martin pleaded guilty to 2 counts of second-degree assault and was sentenced to 6 years in the correctional facility in St. Cloud, Minnesota. However, due to his continued refusal to cooperate with psychological evaluations, in 2004, Martin was committed indeterminately. Jane is now an award-winning author and draws on her experience in much of her writing. She lives in Korea, where she is an activist for ethical adoption. She is no longer in contact with her adoptive parents.